All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a really interesting look at a cosmic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It might shift how you see things.
Mm-hmm.
We're exploring Walter Russell's vision, drawing from, excerpts found in Walter Russell's cosmic view, the spiral of growth and understanding.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Our goal really is to unpack his idea.
Mm.
This idea that the cosmos isn't just random, but, well, incredibly ordered, intelligent even.
And beautiful, right? That's a key part of it.
Exactly. Beautiful in its design. And the pattern underlying it all.
It's just the
spiral.
yeah.
We want to see how this isn't just like a cosmic thing, but how it connects to growth, universally, but also in your own life.
It offers a different lens for sure.
Yeah, maybe even a bit of a shortcut to understanding growth. There's some surprising connections here.
Well, Russell's foundational idea, as the text lays out, is this sense of the universe as a unified process, almost like a symphony.
A symphony, I like that.
Yeah, of light, sound, form, but not separate things. He saw them as expressions of a universal mind.
Okay, and crucially, this mind, this intelligence, it expresses itself through patterns, rhythmic patterns, cyclical ones, and, well, overwhelmingly, spirals.
So it's not chaos out there.
Not at all, according to him. It paints this picture of a universe that's inherently ordered, intelligent, and just breathtakingly beautiful in how it's put together.
All right.
It's a view where matter isn't just dead stuff. It's more like structured thought, and energy is, well, consciousness in action.
Wow. Okay, so less random explosion, more intelligent unfolding.
Precisely. It's presented as a meticulously designed process.
Yeah.
And central to that design is this principle of dynamic balance.
Dynamic balance. Tell me more about that.
The universe in this view is this constant, vibrant interplay, opposing forces always interacting, always seeking equilibrium, like a pendulum,
Okay, yeah.
Russell talks about a universal one or a 0 point, this sort of source. Everything emerges from it and eventually returns to it, a state of balanced potential.
0 point. Got it.
In this dynamic balance, he describes it almost like a cosmic breath. A breath? How so?
Well, every outward expansion, think like outwards, is balanced by an inward compression. Light has dark. Action has reaction.
Okay, that sounds familiar, like basic physics.
It is, but Russell frames it as more fundamental. It's not just physics, it's the engine of creation itself. The constant inhale and exhale, powering everything we see and experience.
That idea of opposing forces, that balance, it definitely makes me think of Dr. DeMartini's universal law of opposites. We've talked about that before.
Absolutely. The connection is right there in the source material. It's a great parallel.
So how does it connect or differ?
Well, DeMartini often applies that law more to the human experience, right? How we perceive things in our lives, this is good, this is bad, and realizing they're two sides of one coin.
Right. Balancing our perceptions.
Exactly. Russell takes that same core principle, that idea of inherent balance, but he lifts it to a cosmic scale. He's saying it's not just about our perception, it's like the fundamental operating system of reality everywhere, from atoms to galaxies.
Okay, that's a big idea. So if the universe is this perfectly balanced, ordered, intelligent system, how do we square that with, well, the tough stuff? The text mentions things like perceived suffering or judgment. How does that fit into a perfect cosmic view? It doesn't seem very balanced sometimes.
That's the really powerful reframe Russell offers, I think. From this cosmic perspective, what we call suffering or difficulty, it's not a mistake. It's not a deviation from the plan.
Okay, so what is it?
It's actually a necessary part of the cosmic dance. When we feel that contraction, a challenge, maybe pain, a setback, it's like an inward pressure point on our own personal spiral of growth.
Inward pressure.
Yeah, and that inward pressure meets the outward expansion of our life, our being. And it's that resistance, that meeting point, that actually defines form. It allows for integration, for real growth.
So the tough moments aren't you falling off the path?
They are the path, or at least a crucial part of its shape. They give it depth, force integration. It's not a flaw, it's part of the design for growth.
Wow. Okay, so it's not a straight line forward then.
Definitely not.
Which brings us right to the core of Russell's vision, as the text really emphasizes.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't move in straight lines. It spirals.
It spirals, yes.
And if the universe spirals, then our understanding, our growth, our lives, they have to spiral too.
Exactly that. The spiral's the master pattern. Life, learning, evolution, And none of it is truly linear, just point A straight to point B.
Uh-huh.
You don't just, make progress in a straight shot and never look back. Instead, you move in cycles. But crucially, each cycle is on an ascending spiral, like climbing a spiral staircase.
Okay, ascending. So what does that mean, practically speaking, like in my day-to-day?
It means you will revisit themes, challenges, lessons, relationship patterns. The same kind of stuff might seem to crop up again and again.
Oh, yeah, that feeling of here we go again.
Right. But the insight here is each time you revisit it, you're doing it from a higher vantage point on that spiral. You're not in the exact same place.
Higher vantage point.
You have the integrated lessons, hopefully, and the experiences from the previous turns below you. The material uses the example of revisiting, say, an old source of suffering.
Okay.
If you've actually integrated the lessons for the last time it came around, from that lower turn on the spiral, you won't experience it identically. You approach it differently, with clearer eyes, maybe, seeing its purpose in a way you couldn't before.
That makes sense, theoretically. But when you're right in it, when it feels like the exact same problem is hitting you again, or you have a setback that feels like it just wiped out all your progress, that feeling of being stuck, really stuck. How does Russell's view handle that feeling, that subjective sense of stagnation?
That's such a crucial point because it feels so real, that feeling of being stuck, doesn't it?
Totally.
But according to this cosmic view, there isn't actually any true stagnation in the universe's process. What feels like being stuck, you're trapped in a loop or going backwards, it's seen as simply the necessary inward curve of the spiral.
The inward curve before the next outward bit.
Exactly. It's the universe, or maybe just your own growth process, hitting a point of necessary contraction. And that phase, that inward turn, it's vital. It's where integration really happens.
Wow.
You're not just gathering a new data, you're actually embodying the wisdom from what you've already lived through. And that often requires those moments that feel like repetition or contraction or being stuck.
So feeling stuck might just be integration time, the inward swing of the pendulum.
That's the reframe, yeah. It's the inward swing before the next outward momentum starts to build again. It's part of the rhythm.
That is actually a really powerful way to look at it.
Yes.
So when those old patterns pop up again, instead of, oh no, not this again, I'm failing, it could be, okay, spiral time. Familiar territory, yes, but I'm higher up now. How do I navigate this differently from this level?
Precisely. What have I learned? How can I respond, not just react from this new vantage point?
And this isn't just abstract philosophy. The source material actually gives a practical exercise to help you see this spiral in your own life. Calls it the dragon trial, the spiral of your life.
Yeah, it's a good one for grounding the concept.
So here's how it works, basically. First step, identify a recurring theme. A challenge, a relationship dynamic, maybe a lesson that just keeps showing up for you over the years.
Could be anything, really.
Yeah, the text gives examples like always struggling with money, or finding it hard to trust people, or maybe a persistent pattern of self-doubt, stuff like that.
Okay, so you pick one theme.
Pick one theme. Step 2, map it out visually. Just, draw a simple spiral on some paper. Doesn't have to be fancy.
Right.
And then mark at least 3 distinct points on that spiral where this theme really showed up in your life. Significant moments over the years.
So specific instances.
Yeah, specific instances. Then step 3 is about reflection, looking at the shift. For each point you marked, briefly describe how you experienced that theme back then. What was it like? And then this is key. Think about your understanding now. From where you are on the spiral today, what lessons feel integrated from those earlier times? How did your response, or just your perspective, how did it evolve?
Using the change over time.
Exactly. And finally, step 4, see the ascent. Just reflect on the growth that this mapping reveals. Notice how, even though the theme felt repetitive, you weren't just going in circles. You were actually moving through it, but at progressively higher levels of understanding or skill each time.
Yeah, the whole point of that exercise is really to connect Russell's big cosmic idea right back to your own personal reality.
Makes it tangible.
It does. It helps you really feel, viscerally recognize that your own journey, with all its ups and downs, is both cyclical and progressive. It shines a light on the purpose hiding within those recurring lessons, especially when you see them through this spiral lens.
So it finds purpose in the repetition.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So I think the core takeaway, really, from this deep dive into Walter Russell's cosmic spiral, it's that it offers this really insightful lens, a different way to see. It lets us see order and intelligence and this deep rhythmic purpose, not just in the huge dance of the cosmos, but right here in the winding path of our own lives, too.
Yep.
It's a framework that helps reframe those challenges, those recurring patterns. They stop looking like failures or roadblocks and start looking more like, well, necessary steps, meaningful steps in an upward climb towards maybe greater wisdom and conscious awareness.
An upward ascent. That's a good way to put it. Okay, so that covers the main ideas from the text. And it definitely leaves us with something pretty compelling to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What might it actually mean for you, listening right now, to fully embrace this rhythm, this cosmic breath? Russell talks about the expansion, the contraction as you navigate your own life spiral. How would approaching those moments that feel like a struggle or like you're stuck, how would approaching them with that understanding actually change your experience of them?
That's a great question to sit with.
Yeah, something to consider. Maybe even, give that dragon trial exercise a shot, see what spirals show up for you.
Could be revealing.
Definitely. Well, we'll wrap it up there for today. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.